Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're here for. We're here for America, the center, common sense, and things that purposely discharge. So we're going to start the show, as we always do, kind of explaining the title. Silence of the Brandons. It's kind of a movie theme. I happen to be seeing something that references Silence of the Lambs, if I'm being honest. But it does kind of work into the theme of how the media goes silent on things. And I think Brandon's now kind of descriptive of the liberals who still support Biden, really, I guess, would be a good way of explaining it. They call us Trumpsters or something like that. But why are they silent on it? Look at him. He's up there talking, oh, I'm being dehumanized. Really? Because you de-lifed people, man. What the fuck? Why is this parody right here by Babylon Bee more accurate than we want to realize? Media frantically prepares exciting new news story in hopes of making everyone forget about the Waukesha terrorist attack. They're actively trying to figure out ways to distract you from that and the Maxwell trial. That's why all of a sudden we have a new Omicron variant of COVID. Zuby. I like what he says here. The powers that be are playing their hand way too hard. And they are. I mean, people are seeing through it. This video covers things like that, where the Democrats, the liberals, the lefties, they've gotten what they want, and now they're reaping the shitty rewards. And it's on display for everybody. It's very hard to cover up. The media will do its best, but, the truth is out there. Yeah. So this is one of the things Purple State has as its platform, is a strong belief in term limits. It's quite apparent that the more time a politician spends in power, the more corrupt they become. And by corrupt, I don't necessarily mean doing things illegal, but certainly they now serve lobbyists and themselves more than they serve people. We live under their rule. They don't work for us anymore. I think this cuts both ways, really, to be honest with you. I think it's part of the problem we have in politics right now. Lobbyists and money really are who these people care about. They don't give a shit about us. To prevent unnecessary deaths, nation demands common sense ALEC BALDWIN control. Yeah, this guy's a work of art, man. I mean, a liberal big mouth, and we'll see. He's ducking and dodging. He's saying he didn't pull the trigger. He's saying that. But as you can see right here, it was a Colt single action. That's what I thought, based on it being a Western. I have a replica of one. They do have a hair trigger. But, I know from personal experience that it is quite easy when dealing with a hair trigger to fire rounds that you didn't mean to. That happens all the time. Automatic pistols are famous for double taps. You squeeze the trigger once and the recoil makes you squeeze again. I get it. I understand that with a hair trigger, you put your finger next to it. If you twitch your finger, it's going to go off. I understand that. But he's trying to say he has no responsibility. He does. He should have. Even George Clooney brought it up. He could have looked to see if there was a round in that chamber. It's not hard. It's really not hard, especially with a Colt single action. You can just spin that sucker around and you can see if it's empty or not. Pretty easy. It's pretty easy. But as the author points out, or actually the guy that was being interviewed, Wolf here, if we start buying into the idea that the gun can go off by itself, that's the start of a very slippery slope. If you're pointing a gun at a person and it goes off, you are responsible. Period. Okay? Period. This is not just for ALEC BALDWIN. Period. Okay? Accidentally? Okay, we can talk about that. That's no big deal. But, when police officers have had their firearms go off, or they grab the wrong firearm thinking they grabbed a taser, but they grabbed their real gun, and people want to send them to prison, well, how are you going to say that and then buy into this? Here's the big problem with the zero bail, the low bail, the no bail, the, figuring out ways to let them off, okay? So this is what's going to happen. These people have been arrested in connection with a smash and grab robbery. Maybe they're on video, okay? So they're caught. Now they're just let out, okay? They're let out on no bail. Now they know they've already been caught for one. So why not go and commit a dozen more? Maybe you'll get caught on a couple of them, but then what you do is you have your public defender go to the DA and say, look, we'll cut a deal. We'll plead guilty to one if you drop the others. Because you already know you've been caught now, so you might as well rack them up. The DA, looking for excuses to let out these criminals, will take the deal. And they'll plead it down. And then these people will they'll go to jail for 6 months. You get all that money, you get all those stolen goods and stuff, you sell them, you get the cash, you do your drugs, you do whatever, you buy it, you hide the money, you buy what you want, you hide the money, however you want to do it. You go to jail for, let's say, a year. What's a year for all that free shit? That's the problem. They've already been caught, they already know they're in trouble, but adding on to that, they're just going to plead it down. That's the way it works. And then the White House was asked to comment on it. And of course, the White House has since spoken to governors and mayors and said, hey, you got to do something about these smash and grab robberies. But Jen Psaki, of course, she comes out and she says, yeah, I think the root cause of a lot of it is the pandemic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure, blame the pandemic. You can't blame Trump, so blame the pandemic. Okay. Hey, Fox 11, really, smash and grab robberies, 14 arrested, all released. See, all released, just like that. They don't even have to spend the night in jail. The cost of doing business in California for a criminal is quite low. The cost of doing business for legitimate folks is quite high in California, but for criminals, quite low. Their disinterest in the massacre is all down to the choice of target. If he had driven into an LGBTQ parade as opposed to a Christmas parade, the media coverage would have been constant, unremitting, epileptic, however you pronounce that. And Dinesh makes a good point right here. This is not what we want, okay? Look, if a Trump supporter drove his car through a bunch of black people who were attending Sunday Mass, I'd want to know the details, man. I'm not afraid of that. I don't condemn every Democrat, every BLM member, every liberal for this guy's actions. This was his actions. But it should be covered fairly. And propaganda should not enter into it. He killed a bunch of people. He is an evil person. And if the fact that he's black or white changes that, then we as a society are failing. See, the news isn't what happened. It's what they want you to see. And that's what it is. This is not a matter of black versus white. This is a matter of propaganda versus truth. The fact that he's black, that changes the way they want to cover the story. The fact that he's liberal, a BLM supporter. This is critical race theory in its media application. But they have no problem with these kinds of hypocrisies because we see it. Here's a great display by Bronco. And this sums up the whole thing. And this is the kind of shit, to put it this way though, this is not me just saying that Democrats are hypocrites, okay? Politicians are hypocrites. We're all hypocrites at some times in our lives. I mean, sometimes it's very hard to avoid that. But publicly, the kind of shit that they said about the travel ban under Trump versus what they're saying under Biden is glaring. It's not okay to ban travel from China, but it is okay to ban travel from South Africa. Huh. Only 2 more variants until Christmas. Yep. Because we've got the Omicron. Right on schedule, right when they needed it most. Here it comes. They're not talking about the fact that it's weak. They're not talking about that it's not showing any major hospitalizations or deaths. No, it's just another distraction that they're not going to be honest about. They're just not. They are exploiting it. Absolutely, right here. After 9/11, human rights groups and liberals were outraged by things like the Patriot Act. Now they cheer on the tyranny because it's coming from their side. Because they're scared. I don't. Jim making it back into the lineup. War on COVID, you are here. Yeah, it's just going to keep going around and around. Omicron. The anagram for moronic. It is. It is. I'm tired of that label too. I've never clicked on it because I don't care. It is what it is. Biden once said that anybody responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president. And now that he has more deaths, does that standard still apply? Probably not. And another part is fully support immigration. Immigration is what built America. Immigrants coming to America and making the most of things is what America is about. I probably could have said that more elegantly, but, I see it every day, man. I see people who immigrated here from south of the border, and during these times of crisis when restaurants were closed and things like that, they set up pop-ups out on the streets. Probably not even legal, but they went for it. They were out there. They kept their hustle going. But that is an invasion. That's what it is. One is through proper channels, and that's called legal immigration. And no matter what people want to call it, illegal immigration is illegal immigration. Illegal being the operative word. It's a whole other story. America's back. Yeah, chasing China. Chicago reports 40 tragic bullet accidents over the weekend. Yeah. Laid off journalist trying to learn to code, horrified to discover the code is binary. How come there's no non-binary option? Oh my God. Well, I put this in because I'm a huge fan of Yellowstone. Kyle, I need you to take Brandon to the train station. I am not going to tell you what that means. All right? You just look it up, train station. If you watch Yellowstone, you know what the train station is. And you can probably figure it out. We've got to start digging out from under all this before we're completely snowed in, because we have an evil group out there called the media who is just going to distract us. And right now we have the pandemic, and it's an awfully easy excuse for them. So just keep scratching, keep clawing, look for the truth, and don't spread lies. Copious out.